C. Vasanta Kalyani, Professor and Principal, AIIMS Deoghar. And also the next speaker, Ms. Angelina Singh, a Nursing Informatics Specialist, AIIMS New Delhi. And all other faculties from across the India, and all nursing officer and dear student, and over there. Once again, I welcome you all for this 19th our webinar, Empower Nurses to Empower Nurses. I think this concept is our vision, whatever the title which is given, Empower Nurses to Empower Nurses. That is our, it is not only the title, it is the vision of the TNA Delhi branch. We took it as a team, as a TNA Delhi branch, with my leadership, my other leaders, co-leader like Saini, all. We have the vision to empower the nurses, not only in Delhi and across the India, with the support of the TNA headquarters with these programs. So what we understood that empowered nurses, who are despite of so many nurses are facing the challenges in India. It is not only in service side, in education, administrations. We are not become the policy maker. We are not be the independent practitioner, even though our same nurses who are graduated from here and practicing at other developed countries. But in our context and situation, still we are about to reach into that level. We are moving forward. In that all context, still our nurses, empowered nurses, self-motivated themselves, and they have their own drive. They are able to prove with their, with their whatever the sources which they are able to get it. It's not only in the service side, even education side. We are able to as TNA headquarters or branch, you are cordially, associated together, and we are inviting these nurses to share their thought and the vision and the work to the other nurses to motivate, because TNA is the headquarters or all branches. We are supporting the nurses, motivating them continuously in different way. This is also one of the way which you wanted to identify these nurses and bring the forum and share the thought to other nurses. That way nurses is able to transform each other, do work collectively, and able to achieve our destination as a practitioner or the policymaker. We have that potential to do practice, and we are improve the patient care outcome by the way they are expertise. That's no doubt about it. But still we are sometimes demotivated with different situation context, which really it's make us to be downward ourselves. That's why these programs, I'm sure that it has helped everyone across the India to sensitize and able to move forward. With that, I would like to congratulate our whole team, and along with the support from headquarters, we made it possible today reaching at 19th program. So far we can able to count down almost 40 speakers, 40 nurses, empowered nurses across the India, from administration, education, and from service side. And especially I'm very happy to state that we identify more than 25, I can say more than that, I can say nurses working in clinical, whatever their level of education, maybe they are diploma or maybe they are graduate or whatever the level, they are then the excellent work which they are able to demonstrate or able to transform through this forum. Because usually when I was the different situation, what I experienced, only the forum can reach only by the educator or administrator or researcher. But today, through our forum, we were able to identify these clinical nurses. Even sometimes they are qualified with the doctorate level also. They are working in clinical, and from different, across the India, different state, they were, came forward. Then they were able to, presented their work, which really inspired most of the nurses. When I received the mail or through the messages, we come to know that, even sometimes clinical nursing I am not able to do because I have limitation. I'm working in clinical. Through these nurses today also, you can see Angelina is clinical nurses, that she was doing the great job at the AIIMS. And we are also called different institution, not only AIIMS. That's why I'm very happy. And again, like Vasanta Kumari madam, you can see that she started her career from different works and different places. And today she reached as the principal of this one of the AIIMS like institution. That way, we are also bringing that type of educator who become the administrator and doing their showing the vision to develop the particular institution. And even though they are also proven in some of the research areas, she worked in palliative, have proved a lot of evidences which add on to her the practices. With that, I'm congratulate once again and over to Saini to proceed further. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. L. Gopichandran, the President of TNI Delhi State Branch, for the warm welcome and the introduction of the theme. I bring greetings to all of you from the Trained Nurses Association of India, Delhi State Branch. A warm good evening to one and all who is present here. Prashant, will you just show the PPT?
Which one, ma'am?
Yeah, Dr. C. Vasanta Kalyani, ma'am. Now I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. C. Vasanta Kalyani, who is PhD in Health Management. And Madam is the Professor cum Principal of College of Nursing, AIIMS, Deoghar. Experience and achievements of Dr. Vasanta. Madam has a rich experience over 25 years in the area of administration, teaching, and research. Madam has published around 63 research papers in reputed index journals and contributed in chapters in books, that is around 3 books. She is being the principal investigator in intra-research projects, that is 2, and co-investigator in around 12 research projects. Madam has been the organizer and resource person for workshops and conferences and conducted around 19 training programs in national and international forums. Madam has presented scientific papers in the national and international forums, and she is the member of board and inspection committee of reputed universities. And she has also been the research guide for PG students, that is MSc nursing students, around 25 students, and PhD nursing, around 5 students. A few about her awards and honors. Madam has completed fellowship on palliative course under the aegis of APHN, Linen Foundation Singapore, and AIIMS Delhi. Madam has received Outstanding Woman Research Award in Nursing Education, and she has also received Consolation Prize in Hindi Sabat Samaro 2019 at AIIMS Rishikesh. Now, I request Dr. C. Vasanta Kalyani Madam to take the session on palliative care nursing, a theoretical application in patient care. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Shaini Chacko. At the outset, good evening all. At the outset, I would like to my full gratitude to Dr. Gopichandran, who is an inspiring for me to come to this platform, because I am the TNI member. Of course, I have become the TNI member as when I have completed my UG, but I was in the new, that is Empower Nurse. In that new phase, I was talking with one day to Dr. Gopichandran to tell me that, sir, can you give the opportunity for me also? Because I have worked, even though in the College of Nursing, I have got the opportunity to do the course of palliative. And then with that, I was very much involved with the patients, which made me to draw a theoretical approach for these patients, because I have done a research on palliative, a group of people. We have done research, and then from that out, I was very much interested related with the nursing theories. When we were, everyone will be come across the nursing theories, and then we are very much interested. What is nursing theories? How we are care of the patients? Maximum, many number of more than 20 theories, but we have adopted from the Western countries. We are knowing till now, and then from that I was having that eagerness to do something for nursing, and then we have to give care accordingly, a systematic way. Which one was the best, I was thinking. So I have done a research, and then through the research, one of the concept we have proved we can give care for these palliative patients at theoretical manner, which can be very much comfortable for the caregiver as well as to the patient. So with that only, just I wanted to put some light, and then which can be adapted, and then we can follow this theory for ongoing our palliative patients. I'll just share my screen. Screen is visible?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, no.
Oh, I have opened it.
Ma'am, from the share screen.
Share
Share
screen.
screen, ma'am.
Okay, okay. I'll just share. Failed to start, the window you select is invalid. It is coming. Can you do it for me?
Yes. Prashant, ma'am's PPT is there, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
No, not this one. The other one. Yes. Thank you. Oh. I think participants are scribbling. Please, please do not scribble on these slides.
Ma'am, unmute from your side.
Yes, I have. Shall I try once again?
Ma'am, you can start. It was not audible. Now it's
Hello?
audible.
I'm not getting the screen at all. The slide is not visible.
Topics. It's on the top. Now, is it visible, ma'am?
No. No PPT or slides are visible.
Ma'am, you can close your PPT if it's on, open.
Yes, ma'am.
If your PPT is open, just minimize it.
Mm.
Ma'am, you just open your Zoom app.
No, just I'm just closing. If
Yeah,
I
close
have,
everything. I can just.
mine is closed only.
Ma'am, just minimize all the screen, ma'am, and open the Zoom application only, ma'am.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yes, I have opened that only.
Finally, can we have the second speaker first till ma'am, sort it out?
Okay, shall we call the second speaker?
Yeah, I think we should not waste time.
Okay.
We should go ahead with the second speaker. Then ma'am, if at the background, ma'am can contact with Prashant and then try to sort it out.
Okay, Angelina is there?
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
Uh,
ma'am.
Okay, Prashant.
Yes.
Shiny, can we have the second speaker?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And you can just telephonically inform her.
Okay. Since the first speaker is having some technical issues, we move on to the next speaker for the Singh. Nursing accolades. She is also a MSc Health Informatics. She is currently working as a nurse informatics specialist at AIIMS, New Delhi. Can you change the slide, please? Yeah, she has a rich experience in the area of teaching, research, and clinical practice. She is specialized skill in high dependency unit in surgical unit and 7 years experience.
Bindu ma'am, your voice is not audible. I think so. Bindu ma'am has
We
lost
are
it.
really proud to have Miss Angelina in this form. Request you, Miss Angelina.
Good evening, one and all. I hope I'm audible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
I would request Mr. Prashant to play the video that I had prepared for this presentation. Please, Prashant, Mr.
Yes.
Prashant, can you go on?
Yes.
Mr. Prashant, the audio is not. Mr. Prashant, can we go with the slides if audio is not available?
Which slide, ma'am?
I have also given slides.
Okay.
So, very good evening to one and all. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, I am Angelina Singh, Nurse Informatics Specialist at AIIMS Delhi. And my topic for today is role of NIS in a government setup. Can we go to next slide, please? So first, I'd like to highlight what is our background and what NIS means, what is NIS doing at AIIMS, or you can say a government setup, and the roles of NIS. Next slide, please. As you know, AIIMS is the nerve center of all the healthcare setups, where the scales of operations are quite high. That is, we have nearly 2,000 doctors, 4,000 plus nurses. We have appointments for patients. We have nearly 25 to 30,000 patients visiting our centers. And it becomes a prime responsibility of AIIMS to provide affordable care to the poorest without compromising the quality of care. Next slide, please. So likewise, in any sector of like AIIMS, there are requirements to provide the healthcare in an efficient manner. In that sense, hospital information system, which is a part of health information system, plays an important role. The purpose of health information system is to provide monitoring, planning, supervision, and to give information and manage decision making in a much faster and an evidence-based practiced way. So in this situation where HIS becomes a very important part in rolling out and providing quality care, it becomes important that these HIS, that is the health information management system in the hospitals, work efficiently. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So in health information management system, there are a lot of points and a lot of aspects to it. Person management system, patient billing, clinical information system, which is handled by physicians, laboratory informations, blood banks, radiology information system, which encompasses the picture archiving and records, which means that the patient can access his x-rays, CT scans, ultrasounds on the go on the screen. And there are related to admissions and discharges, and in between whatever processes happens, like minor like dietary processes, OT scheduling, OT preparations, they all. So IT implementation is very important, where it starts from requirements, then design, building it, testing it, training, and then transition from paper to the electronic mode. Next slide, please. So in this IT implementation, what challenges we faced is the IT implementation happened at a very fast rate, and it happens at all the sectors, be it the physician side, nursing side, or the other employees, the medical record section department. They all have to coordinate, and thereby there is some resistance going from manual to the electronic format, and coordination among these healthcare workers becomes a big issue, and provision of logistics according to the requirements, the place setup, what kind of hardware is essentials, whether for example a barcode printer is required where the stickers have to take out, or a printer has to be required to give it to the hand copies to the patients, or any kind of devices which are barcode scanners, which increase the efficiency of workflow without increasing time. And there is customization of as per the requirement of the department or the facility. And if there is not a proper information which is transmitted across these sections, then there is a lack of interdisciplinary coordination. Next slide. So to best put up to crack the code of using HIS, there are four major aspects. One are administrative supports, which has to give strong decisions, make strong decisions, and right from the start of the uh, processing or even thinking of the concept to the implementation part of it. And it requires strong leadership and support, which helps in people digesting those uneasy decisions, and provision of logistic softwares, coordinating with stores, prototyping, getting with IT teams to coordinate with them to implement to the full satisfaction level and user acceptance level. In that, nursing informatics specialists, which is a dedicated team of pool of nurses who are trained and who are bilingual, that is, they have both clinical knowledge as well as the medical knowledge as well as the IT knowledge, to an extent that they can make informed decisions, chalk out processes, discuss with further administrative as well as the team players, the main players, and implemented on ground level. Next slide, please. So what is NIS? NIS is a specialty that integrates nursing science with multiple information and analytical sciences to identify, define, manage, and communicate data, information, knowledge, wisdom in nursing practice. And it can go a long way, not only in the nursing, it touches almost all the periphery of healthcare sector nowadays. Next slide, please. So it compasses, to cut it short, it has medical sciences, computer science, and information technology science involved. Next slide, please. So nursing skills, what all it has to encompass project management, health information system knowledge, educational program development, aiding in content development and organizing it in a structural format, making recommendation to the higher authorities for preferred clinical systems. Next slide, please. So in US, there is a Medical Informatics Association where nurse informatics already work as educators, programmers, researchers, project managers, chief information officers, even software engineers, and implementation consultants and policy developers. But in next slide, in an Indian context, we can divide them. Next slide, please. In an Indian context, we can divide them into 4 categories. Next slide, please. That is research, clinical practice, education, and administration. And let us see one by one how this actually comes to play. Next slide, please. So what was the genesis of NIS at AIIMS? It is a very small group of nurses which was started on the 1st of Feb 2011, and then it span across all the centers of AIIMS, where minimum of 5 to 9 nurses were taken, and in high densely ED area where a nursing of NIS is required for each shift, then the numbers had to be increased. Next slide, please. So presently in AIIMS, we have a total number of 67 nurses, which is 1.5% of the total nurses population, which are bringing about changes in the healthcare sector through the IT technology. So let me make you aware of what all changes NIS have brought. Next slide. So I clearly, first of all, talking about the administrative stand, where do they actually stand in the nursing hierarchy? NIS is responsible module wise. Supposedly she is working in lab or OPD or any area. So one person will be helping the IT people, coordinating with these main stakeholders and getting the tools and requirements from them, and then coordinating with the IT team, and then helping to enforce it, looking at the logistic points of it and the IT coordination point of it, and implementation also. So, and then there are nurses who are helping in maintaining that module in a systematic way. And obviously once it is a module or IT software is developed, it is not going to be accepted at first instance. There are changes during the time. There are user requirements that they want this kind of changes and they want to improve it to a better level. So that becomes a continuous process. Training, as you know, in any government hospital, there is inflow and outflow of manpower. So training goes side by side. So NIS plays a very important role in maintaining, upholding and maintaining that software. So these NIS who are work under a team leader, and then they report to the assistant nursing superintendent of the respective centers, and then DNS, and to the nursing superintendent and CNO at large. Apart from this, they are also accountable for their work to the area they are assigned. For example, if they are working in OP, they will be responsible and accountable to give their work details to faculty officer in charge, which again is a doctor, to them also. If she's working under a nurse laboratory, then she will inform to the doctor in charge who's responsible from their department for the IT implementation. So likewise things go. So NIS becomes a center of coordination with many health professionals. Next slide, please. Now next slide, please. So nutshell is NIS helps in the patient care coordination, bridging doing the gap analysis, bridging the team between the medical and the IT team, ensuring compliance, supervision, optimizing of the workflow, and so on. Next slide. So now coming to the specified nursing informatics jobs in various clinical areas. So first of all, taking emergency department first. Emergency, there are 4 nurses in each shift. 2 in emergency has peds emergency, main emergency, as well. And what are the roles of these NIS there? So they help in triaging of the patient, allocation of those patients to doctors who are JRs or SRs who are there, doing and they are provide the aims with the help of the in-house developers, software developers, have made emergency department module where the NIS puts in the data of each individual, and during her round she sees how many patients are in which category, whether in green, red, yellow category, or whether which consultation, which test have been ordered, whether they had been conducted or not. And this is displayed on monitors on the ED. So this means that the real-time updates of the patients happens. Then there is EMLC, that is Electronic Medical Record Certificate, which is an essential part in any casualty setup. In most of the areas also, we have seen that back then it was a manual setup which used to get lost or are tampered. So EMLC, the electronic medical records, became electronic, which I'll discuss later. Then consultation registers and reporting the doctors. NIS played an important role in reducing the turnaround time between the consultations. So they became managers, like how we can reduce the consultation time where the patient can receive their best optimal care at the right time. And of course, there are a lot of anxious people around in ED. So NIS was also given a small duty mobile where she was patients who were anxious could come up and call and get an information. So it becomes a working help, a rotatory help desk. So this all is the job responsibility of emergency NIS. Next slide, please. Job responsibility of an OPD NIS. I have been now working as an OPD NIS, and you must be wondering what are the single window SWSC, that are single window service counters. In hospitals, we see there are different lines for labs, there are different lines for radiology department, different lines for getting dates for the next scheduled doctor's appointment. In AIMS in 2016, what we started is we clubbed everything into one counter. Like if a patient comes, he will get our lab appointments, radiology appointments, and future appointments for the doctors. And to just add to it, AIMS started, it was the first hospital to start appointment system, government setup in government setup where 70% are advanced appointment, 30% are current appointments. And we, as an estimate, we get nearly 7,000 patients in a 17 department OPD. So we can imagine the rest of the departments and the sectors have lot of load. And by this, NIS plays an important role in screening of the patient, because in tertiary sector you get referred cases. So NIS plays an important role in deciding in which, at times where which patient needs to go to which department if he's coming for the first time. And they are overall manager for 200 manpower of data entry operator, patient care coordinator, or who are a working help desk for the patients, and patient care managers. So this kind of administrative role is also entrusted upon the NIS. So which is again an additional to the supervisionary and very good administrative role which an NIS can play. Again, moving to the next slide. Then what in the floors, that is in the ward area, or to the not only wards, in the hospital stores, in the dietary department, what all NIS does in the billing area, there also NIS goes and trains users. There are 3 to 4 areas which are allocated to a single NIS. She ensures that training on the modules are done. There is compliance of all the modules that are happening, the maintenance of eDocs, that is whether the users have been trained, coordinating activities, informing glitches if there are any technical issues, the server is down or there is any hardware problem, they inform. So this again, apart from this, next slide please. There is a laboratory NIS also. So you must be wondering what is laboratory NIS. That is, we coordinate in digitalizing the labs. In 2014, we realized that patients who are in the paper forms are not the ideal way to provide timely care to the patients. So this was taken as the first step in during the phases of digitalizations, where IT module was developed. The lab was coordinated for getting what should be their entry format, what should be their reporting format, what should be the how the report should be visible to the patients. In that whole process, NIS played an important role. What kind of drop down should come, what are the parameters should be given. So this all matter, NIS played an important role in also getting the analyzer. Some of the analyzer had to be connected to the LIS. Most of the tests are done by the machines themselves. So the vendors who had come in had to coordinate with the NIC team, that is the National Informatics Center, which is the government body which develops IT softwares. So there are various other government IT sector organizations, but NIC is the overall one which does for AIMS, and is also doing in other, not only in Delhi, but other AIMS also. So liaison between the vendor parties and the NIC also becomes a responsibility of the NIS. So and time and again these are redefined, and in labs, as you can understand, there are a lot of doctors who come in and go. So their user ID, their if we make an ID, also we have to withdraw that ID. So it becomes a responsibility of NIS also to do that. So coming to the next slide.
Angelina, 3 minutes more.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm just almost done, ma'am. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So in a net result, we had 81% of labs which were online, 8,000 users which were trained, and turnaround time had decreased drastically. In cyber attack time, we realized how manual reports were sought out by patients for at least 2 to 3 days. So you can understand the importance of this module. Next slide, please. So again, job responsibilities are again miscellaneous, like I said, if time and again there are small modules which are developed in house, that is, and we to enhance the transparency of in the office sector, there is e-office, that is a software which is the government organization Parichay has been launched. So NIS is training the stores to all the users regarding that module. Then quality assurance module is a module which is first started for training as well as grading of the residents as well as nurses. So they are trained by nurses. Then NIS, then EHS module, that is employee health scheme modules that were started. So these kinds of work are looked after. Next slide, please. There is also a wing of NIS which holds the academic work, that is e-learning modules for doctors and nurses, compliance for the e-learning modules, and then conducting continuing nursing education programs, and coordinating with content management for video consultation or teleconsultation. And to an extent that NIS also started helping in publishing newsletters for nurses and technicians. So next slide, please. In-house modules, e-birth, e-death, ED module, computerized patient record system, SNOMED compliance. NIS was also involved in developing SNOMED CT. So what is SNOMED is standardized nomenclature of medical and clinical terms. So it is about 35,000 concepts where different synonyms of medical terms were gathered and their hierarchy was developed. So a module, when it is made, which if a person, for example, writes MI, he can also correlate if a heart attack. So in the back end, the system recognizes, okay, these two terms are the one. So in that nomenclature also, NIS played an important role. Next slide. Next slide, please. So this is the EMLC I was talking about. In names, it was indigenous, as you can see, from papers to we had given to electronic as well as the photo IDs of the patients also. Next slide. Next slide, please. So this is the workflow where the patients how NIS were taken as an important role in doing the EMLC. Next slide. This is the workflow. Next slide. So this is, as I was telling earlier, the EMLC became a great success with 100% compliance, and it got applauded from the legal system also. And it was shared that this kind of format should come in another hospitals, government setups also. Next slide. This is a NOTI module that was developed. Next slide. And e-hospital. So as I said, a National Informatics Center who develops common use an IT software company, they had just started with admission and discharge, but with the help of the NIS support and with the coordination of the administration, it had scaled now to 14 such modules. Next slide. So the key roles which NIS had played was getting Aadhaar for the transparency and authentication of patients into the AIIMS, then single window exit counter I had explained, EMLC, then ABHA, that is Ayushman Bharat Health Account Number, which is under the umbrella of ABDM, that is Ayushman Bharat Digital Health, under which PHR, that is Public Health Records, where patients can have a DigiLocker of their documents, and the patient can access their keep as a DigiLocker for different hospital visits, and all the documents can be saved in one DigiLocker. Next slide, please. So right now in AIIMS, we have made nearly 120,000 Aadhaar IDs till date of people, and now it's going to transition to the next level. So NIS has been a major game changer for many things. As you can see, for past 10 years, we have been working tirelessly for improving the quality of care of patients through IT setups and bridging the gap and hierarchical structure in AIIMS, ensuring IT compliance, redesigning workflows. Next slide, please. So main strength of NIS has been an administrative support, the centralized reporting accountability, selection of nurses who are enthusiastic, because as you can see, it is a very new stream in India. Nurses who have the zeal and passion to follow it and have that passion to get things done through a lot of resistance, obviously. So those can make this cadre a beacon of success. So monitoring and periodic evaluation and acknowledgement at the end, I would say a platform like these and institutions where the NIS can be recognized and their work can be taken forward, not only in government setup as well as in the private setup also. Next. So I would like to close that topic for you. Any doubts, you are free to question.
Thank you, Angelina, for this lovely presentation. So we'll take the questions at the end after the second speaker speaks. But
Okay,
just
ma'am.
to sum up Angelina's presentation here, she has first introduced the importance of hospital information system, then the role of hospital information system in different departments, and how the hospital as such faces challenges during digitization. Now, this is the time of digitization, so there is bound to have challenges. So that she has explained very well, and then later on she has come into like highlighting us with the role of nurses. The selection of nurses. AIIMS has done a very wise job by selecting nurses as informatic specialists. And she has very rightly said that how nurses were the right choice to become the informatic specialist, because nurses have the clinical knowledge as well as nurses has some IT knowledge. So this was a very wise choice by the administration. And Angelina has also talked about the application of nurse informatics specialist, be it the research or clinical or administrative, anything. And how I also am working in the same institute. So I see how they are, working systematically and being the liaison between the IT department and the end user, as well as the vendor party as well. So Angelina has very nicely talked about the role of, in very detail, the role of nurse informatics specialists in different departments. So I won't go in detail about it. And last but not the least, I would like to appreciate all the nurse informatics specialists, especially during, you must have all seen in newspaper that there was a cyber attack in AIIMS, and our information system was totally, stopped. So I have witnessed that they have been working entirely. They have not looked about their, duty time without, thinking about that, just supporting the IT department and the administration, and really contributed a lot in, coming back to the system and starting the information system again in the hospital. So Angelina, a very nice presentation. We'll come to the questions later on, so please be online.
Okay, ma'am.
So next, I'll request the next speaker, Shiny.
Yeah, I think so. Ma'am is ready.
Yes, I am ready. Just
So over to Dr. C. Vasanta Kalyani, ma'am.
yes,
Prashant, will you please share the slides?
yes. Yes, thank you. My slides are visible. Okay, thank you. I have done my a brief about this palliative care, what I have done. So we have made a theory for this. So in this palliative care, I just wanted to just gist a few topics. Next slide, please. That is palliative care, things to require to start in palliative services, theory development, what we have done, and then how we have applied, and then what are all the competencies as a nurse we should possess when we are giving palliative care, what are the issues of nursing, and then what is the role of nurse as a palliative care nurse. Next slide, please. So palliative care, I think all of us have some of the reviews or some courses we have done, which is that is quality of life we want to achieve for the person who are suffering with multiple or complex terminal illness. So as per that, the support system, we can tell palliative care is the support system to help patients live as actively as possible until death. So this is according to WHO 2004 they have given. So every person, one day there will be the death, everyone as a human being we know, but the person who are suffering with many disease conditions and then it is a complex, we have to give them the palliative care for their maintain the quality of life. Next slide, please. So it is a supportive care system. So the persons who are giving the palliative care, they have to maintain with the patient center and then they have to maintain a relationship. So always our goal can be the make wise choices, focus on what is the most important for the patients and to provide relief from their sufferings. So always palliative care, we can tell it is a patient center and relationship based. Yes. Where we can do the palliative care? It can be in anywhere, maybe in the hospital, in nursing homes, hospice centers or palliative centers, community, anywhere we can do the things. So if we see what is the necessary services, if we want to start with the palliative care, so we have to have our OPD several services for the palliative dedicatively. And then because being in AIMS Rishikesh, I was previously at AIMS Rishikesh, we have started the palliative services after a group of doctors and nurses, one among me, have done the course and then we have started the initial of OPD services. Being the AIMS Rishikesh at in the one of the hilly state of Uttarakhand, we have got a challenging of patients with OPD services in the initial, but very fast we have started with IPD as well as the morphine, which is very much essential for the patients who want to relieve themselves from pain. So these are all the three important services which is very much required to care the patients in the palliative care. So we have initiated with this in the initial period. Then next slide, please. So what has happened? So in OPD, we have done with the palliative assessment score, assessment, and then we have with the pain scoring, patient counseling. We have initiated with this only. We have assessed, and then we have done with pain scoring, and then counseling. As we the nurses, we have studied with our specialized, and then I have undergone the palliative fellowship, so it was easy. And then in IPD, we have taken care, wound care, especially stoma, and then day-to-day pain assessment of the patients, and then many nursing training programs. What we have learned, we have did with that nursing training programs, and then we started. If we wanted to, nowadays the era is technologically, as per the previous speaker did, as well as it's an evidence-based era where we are doing our care. It's under the evidence-based era. So evidence-based, we have to do a research and then we should put the evidence to that. So in that, I have worked as a principal investigator as well as co-investigator for many projects, and then we have come and give the one picture for the palliative care.
So how we in that we have started to develop the theory because we are giving care. Everyone we are giving care. If you see the Western country, because nursing, which was generic uh, care from India, but what has happened? But we have adapted many of the theories and policies and our curriculum and then our standard of practices. Everything we have adapted from Western countries. So theory, everyone would have studied theory application of nursing care, but whether we are making it or not, that is a doubt. So we have developed a theory for our patients as per our Indian context, what the patients need and then what we have to do more for them. So in the theory development, next slide, please. Yes, next, please. In theory development, we have to do the research. So what we have done and then how we have come to the that is idea about theory. After we have done the 200 patients observed in palliative care OPD along with other doctors, that is radiation oncology as well as medical oncology, especially we were in the Rishikesh IBS. So after providing care, 600 patients, they have been registered in oncology OPD who are required palliative. So we have a developed, that's why, that is the reason, because we are seeing number of patients and the care, how the systematic way we can go. So in that symptomatic management, problem solving counseling, yoga and meditation, because Rishikesh is being the yoga bhumi. So family and caregiver involvement. These are all some of our ideas which have we put into the on patients and to the family as well as to the caregiver. Next slide, please. So we started to initiate. So from that, the first phase, we have made the assessment form. I think everyone would have been seen. This is what the first step we have done with that. A separate palliative assessment form, which are having all components of the pain assessment, their physical and then psychological, anxiety, spiritual, all the components we bring into this palliative care assessment form, and then which is nowadays also practicing in AIMS, Rishikesh, as well as where I moved to the Devgarh, we have started with this because it is totally on a patient care basis. We have done this and then we are doing now also. And then next, so we have developed the theory. Next slide, please. We have developed the theory already. I have told many of the Western theories only we are following. So we have to take it as a base. King's goal attainment theory, we have taken it and then we have followed as a palliative care nursing theory for advanced cancer patients. So some of the 4 or 5 investigators, mainly the nursing as well as from surgical oncology, radiation oncology, and then medical oncology, even yoga and meditation. We have involved Art of Living group. And then we have got the project fund also as extramural. We have made it from the Uttarakhand Council of Sciences and Technology. We got the fund to do this project also for developing and then carrying the patient as per that. Please, next slide. So the aim of the study is to construct and validate palliative care nursing theory guidelines to provide better palliative services to patients with advanced cancer. So in that we have constructed the theory and then we have to validate it. How we have to go it. So in that advanced cancer, we have come across so many cancers patients are reported, but in that we have made a gallbladder because that was predominantly there in the Gangetic belt. It's at Rishikesh. So we have taken that as one of the gallbladder cancer patients. Next is that the methodology we wanted to do. So we have taken selected department sites and then in phase 1, what we have done, we have done the qualitative study through the exploratory surveys on 25 patients. So we have done this, we have asked them, we have talked, we have put with that open-ended, and then they have given their what are all the problems, how they wanted. So we have done with this, and then each and everything we have, each and every activities of the patient as well as caregiver followed for 6 months And then we identified the quality of life as well as the survival outcomes of these patients. All of you know why I have mentioned, especially the gallbladder patients. The gallbladder cancer patients, they usually come to the OPD in the advanced stage. At the time, they will be in the method of palliative care only. So, and then their progress or their chance of survival also is less compared to other advanced cancer patients. So this is what our consort went. And then we have started in the July for this constructor theory. And then it has been almost 6 months we spent, and then we enrolled with patients. We started to do the theoretical thing. What are all the sub-themes we have taken? Symptomatic, problem solving, yoga and meditation, family, as well as caregiver. So what are all the other sub-theme we have taken? General need, special need, because some of the surgical patients, they needed PTDB care, as well as the family member also need to do the care for the, which are all the other tubes and fittings the patient has. And then assessing the problem faced by the patient by counseling, either money, or they are having the fear about the disease or fear about their life. So mental health as well as stress, and then satisfaction, family, what is their confidence level? Because if the patient is the breadwinner, there is so much challenges in the advanced patients as well as who are in the palliative. Next slide, please. Yes, next, please. Next. Yes, next. So the four more, next, please, previous one. The previous one. So symptomatic management, problem solving, factors of mental in yoga and meditation, that is especially for the mental health aspect, either for the patient or to the caregiver. And then we have to involve the family also when the patient is at palliative phase, because it's not like a treatment. It's a holistic approach for the patients with advanced cancer. Next slide, please. Next, please. So then we have, yes, previous one. Then we have derived. So here I just wanted to put the basic of King's goal attainment theory, how we have come out with that. So that is a theoretical framework for palliative care nursing. So general as well as problem solving, which is focusing on the patient, and then the problem solving counseling, as well as yoga meditation, which is focusing patient as well as the family caregiver. Finally, we identified the quality of life, and then if it is poor, we have come back to the feedback, and then we have assessed, which is essential, and then that we have focused, where there will be the multidisciplinary approach, where there will be the other sort of facilities, where there will be the government benefits. So these are all the areas we have focused. So it's whether it's visible or not, the settings have been given to you. How we have, which are all the areas we have come across. It will be showing to you. That is, the patients who are with a pain. There will be the 70 patients of we have identified with pain, and then palliative chemotherapy 60 patients they have given, and then percutaneous transhepatic biliary drainage tube. They are going with that. The 53 patients were there. And then supportive nursing care, supportive yoga, meditation, 45 patients we have come across with all these things. And we identified the quality of life of patient. And then same activities we are doing for all patients who are all having the palliative gastrojejunostomy, radiation. So many number of patients we have taken with advanced gallbladder cancer patients. Yes, next slide, please. Then we have developed the theory, whether how this palliative care with the symptom, physical, mental health, as well as the caregiver can come. We have validated, and then which has been proved. Yes, this at least on these 6 aspects, majorly if we take care, then the patient can quality of life will be improved. That study has continued for 30 months. what we have constructed the theory and we have validated what we have done for this case study. Next slide. It was the study research done by the gallbladder patients, but for the other cancer patients, how the theory can be applied. We have done with, next slide please, we have done with one case study. Carcinoma breast, come to the patient and then emergency complaint with seizures and disoriented behavior. Patient was conscious but not well oriented to time. Local examination, left chest normal, generalized bone tenderness, pain score was 6/10. Blood investigation.
Hello, ma'am, you are not audible.
So burden of family has been addressed. For one point, I'm telling symptomatic management anyway, yes, we are giving supportive care. Problem solving, which has been addressed by the family. The patient were neglected, but they have been emotionally supported with yoga and meditation. Caregiver also given. What is the best for them, and then how to address the family as well as the caregiver. Maybe caregiver also equally cumbersome for the caregiver also while taking care for these patients. So what is the main competency as a nurse we have to do? Because this we have directly involved in the ward, and then all of the nursing officers have been supported to done this theory. Next slide, please. Next, because I have just briefed the care
2
plan.
minutes left.
Yes. Please come to the competencies. Next slide. Next. Yes. So from the palliative care ward, we have identified what are all the competencies of the nurses are necessary. Communication. First and foremost in the palliative is communication, physical skills, psychological, teamwork, interpersonal skills, and then life closure skills. These are all the essential skills a palliative nurse has to possess, maybe by practicing, demonstrating, and then have the attitude to talk to these patients. Next, please. Nursing issues, if we can see, care of bedridden patient, which is very much issue for the patients, and then we can talk about to the family also, which is very much what is that, the patients as well as the caregiver not willingness is very much less. So care of bedridden patient is an issue which has to be a challenge for the palliative patients. And then lymphedema, ostomy care and wound care, because everything we have to teach to the caregiver with the aseptic techniques. Anyway, COVID has come, so it has taught everyone the infection control practices. Meanwhile, when we do, the COVID has been reported, and then every member of the patient as well as family, even everyone, we have talked about the infection control practices. So maybe this ostomy care and wound care was little easy for us when we talk to these patients and family member. Next, please. So these are all some of the preventive of bed sore, changing position, which position, how the damaged skin, how we have to do. These are all some of the points we have to take care when we are taking care of the bedridden patients. We have taught this with the picture and everything to the family member also, who is the caregiver, primary caregiver as well as secondary. Next. And then care of lymphedema. So that as per the lymphatic system, how the dressings has to be done. Then next is Next slide, please. And then 4 corner management, skincare, bandages, massages, and exercise. This is for lymphedema. So we have to ensure for the lymphedema patients, caregiver also learning these things. It's not easy. Within a day, it won't come for these caregiver to help the patients. So by doing and showing to the caregiver, full involvement by the nurses as well as the caregiver, which is very much necessary. That is the competency we should possess when we the palliative nurses. Next slide. So role first will be we have be the facilitator, case manager. We should advocate which is necessary for these patients, and then assessment, and then management expert. We are the management expert also. So as per our validation of palliative nursing theory, which is based on the King School, and everyone we have to use it for our palliative patients, mainly on the 3 domains, as with the 6 sub theme. We have to take care of the patient means last slide, please. So this will be very much easy. So the palliative care theory, which has been validated, which is very much structured, well designed, cost effective, feasible tool to provide the palliative care to cancer patients. And then this will guide the palliative care team. It is not only the nursing care, it is a multi-department theory which will be helpful the team to provide better palliative care to patients as well as their families. And then early identification and then assessment, which is very much essential. Treatment of physical, physiological, and spiritual domain, which has to be taken care whenever the patient is enrolled in palliative. These are all the references what we have done. So now the road of the palliative has to go long. It is just a beginning. We have to go a very long way in palliative care. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalyani. So we always say that theory has to be translated to practice. Madam's presentation is a very a good example of how we as a nurses can, translate theory into practice by evidence-based practicing. So Madam's topic was construction and validation of palliative care nursing theory. The theory was based on King's goal attainment theory. And ma'am has also very nicely talked about the theoretical part of it also. What is palliative care? What are required to start palliative services? And later on, ma'am has also talked about the assessment form, sub-themes, etc. And also requirement of fund arrangement also. So it is a very, huge work, a work of many months of a team, not only one person. A team has been working for this, the palliative care nursing, the construction and validation of the palliative care nursing theory. And based on that, ma'am has said that they have identified competencies, what are the competencies required for the palliative care nurses, and also finally the role of nurses in palliative care nursing. So ma'am, thank you so much for this huge work which you and your team has done. And it has been very eye-opening for many of us to, this is, you are showing us an example of how we can, work and then practice evidence-based practice in actually. So thank you so much, ma'am. And now we'll be taking the questions if there are any questions. Shiny, I would like you to check actually because I could not see any questions in the box.
Yeah, I'll just do it. But meanwhile, I can just please rename. I can see 2-3 people, the mobile name is there. Please rename for if you need the certificate. Rename yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Informative. Thank you. I can't see any questions as of now. Proud to be a student. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. No, all thank yous. I think so. There's a vote of session for that.
Yeah, so both the sessions were very clear and concise.
Yeah.
That nobody has got any doubt.
What happened to Jyoti? Suppose she's asking some question mark. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Jyoti Sapokta. Can you just again send if there is any question? Because she has put 2 question marks. I think so. There's no questions. Can just wind up by saying the vote of thanks, Dolma.
Yeah, so I would
Actually,
like to
Dolma,
thank-
excuse me, Dolma.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the previous one, Angelina session, one question was there, is there any certificate course for NIS?
Not in AIMS as such.
Somebody has
but
asked that question.
Yeah, if Angelina could, highlight this, enlighten us if there is any in other places, not in AIMS as far as I know. Angelina, please.
Yes, thank you, Dolma ma'am. This question comes as a good eye-opener for all of us. As presently in India, there is no nursing informatics course as such. But yes, there is a health informatics course which runs in Hyderabad, that is run by Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research in coordination with Indian Institute of Public Health. So it is a 2-year semester course, 4 semester courses there, which I have done. So in that, nursing informatics is a subject. So presently we don't have a certificate course for it, but there is a course which is available outside. Does that answer the question sufficiently?
Yeah, I think it's very clear, Angelina. Thank you so much for this information. This information
and there is
new for us also.
Yeah, Jyoti was asking, is there any post-test link for the session? There is no pre-test and post-test. We'll be just saying how much hours were logged in, and accordingly we'll be giving the certificates. Dolma, can just say the vote of thanks and we'll wind up.
Okay, so I would like to, first and foremost, thank both the speakers for, presenting such, interesting, concise, and very important, nurse, where people, nurses are working day in and day out. So thank you so much, both of Dr. Kalyani and Angelina. And then, of course, our participants, 500 till the last, last presentation. People are here logged in. Thank you so much for this huge response. We would also expect you all to be here every last Saturday. We usually have last Saturday, 4 to 5 p.m. Every month we have. So we'll expect you again. And to our team, TNAI Delhi branch, as well as TNAI headquarters, for supporting us every time. Thank you so much, all the executive members who have been organizing this. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice
weekend. Thank you so much, Prashant.
Yeah, Prashant, sorry.
Ma'am, thank you.
No, he's there in headquarter team. He's there. You thank the headquarter team, but special thanks.
He needs special thanks because technically he is handling everything at the back.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
So we won't see him on front. Yeah, Prashant, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. You can leave the room. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.